If you're over 60, there's a hidden danger inside your body right now, one that's quietly poisoning you from the inside out. Harvard Medical School scientists recently uncovered a shocking truth. Visceral fat, the deadly fat that wraps around your vital organs, releases over 400 toxic chemicals into your bloodstream every single day. But here's what truly stunned researchers. People over 60 who followed a specific, scientifically backed protocol were able to reduce their visceral fat by up to 73% in just 30 days. And they did it without extreme diets, grueling workouts, or exhausting themselves at the gym. This groundbreaking study tracked 1,147 participants aged 60 to 75, and the results were so dramatic that the researchers had to triple-check their measurements. Unlike the harmless, pinchable fat under your skin, visceral fat is a silent, lethal killer, squeezing your organs, disrupting metabolism, and triggering life-threatening conditions like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and more. Dr. Samuel Kleen from Washington University found that even a modest 5% reduction in visceral fat can add up to 7 years to your life. And here's the surprising part. Your age may actually give you an advantage. After 60, your body becomes more responsive to certain metabolic triggers, making visceral fat easier to target than ever before. Now, what you're about to discover is not another fad diet or miracle supplement. These are evidence-based strategies that work with your body's natural fat-burning mechanisms. You'll get exact foods to eat, specific steps to follow, and actionable tips you can implement immediately. And here's the most fascinating revelation. The #1 most powerful technique for melting visceral fat, according to a 2023 study from the University of Copenhagen, has nothing to do with diet or exercise. Yet participants who used this method lost 42% more visceral fat than those who didn't. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Drop your age and where you're watching from in the comments. We're reading and replying to every single comment, and we want to know your story, so get ready. Without further ado, let's uncover the exact steps that can help you melt dangerous visceral fat, reclaim your health, and transform your life after 60. Step number 5. Strategic protein timing for maximum metabolic activation. Let's get started. Step number 5 is all about strategic protein timing, a game-changing strategy for metabolic activation after 60. You see, your body's relationship with protein undergoes a dramatic shift as you age. And most people are getting it wrong in ways that actually promote visceral fat storage. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition reveals that adults over 60 need 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal to effectively trigger muscle protein synthesis, your body's natural process of building and maintaining lean muscle tissue. This is crucial for targeting visceral fat because every pound of muscle burns roughly 50 calories per day at rest, while fat tissue burns a mere 2. In a study tracking 387 participants over 6 months, researchers discovered that those who consumed adequate protein at each meal lost 23% more visceral fat compared to participants who ate the same total daily protein but spread it unevenly. The lesson here is clear. It's not just about eating more protein. Overall, it's about hitting the protein threshold at every meal to continuously activate your metabolism. Morning. Protein is especially critical. Why? After a night of fasting, your cortisol levels are naturally elevated, which can trigger visceral fat storage if not countered. The solution? Start your day with eggs, Greek yogurt, or a high-quality protein smoothie, delivering at least 25 grams of protein within the first hour of waking. For lunch and dinner, aim for palm-sized portions of lean proteins such as fish, chicken, lean beef, or plant-based options like lentils, quinoa, or a combination of beans. This strategic timing establishes a metabolic rhythm, keeping your body in fat-burning mode all day long. Dr. Douglas Patton Jones from the University of Texas found that following this protein timing approach increased resting metabolic rate by 14% in adults over 60, meaning you burn more calories even while relaxing or watching TV. The preparation is straightforward but requires planning. Prioritize protein first, then add vegetables and healthy carbohydrates. For convenience, cook batches of chicken breast, hard-boiled eggs, or beans on Sunday so you always have protein ready to go. Many older adults fall into a harmful pattern: toast or cereal for breakfast, a salad for lunch, and then attempting to catch up with a massive protein portion at dinner. Unfortunately, this actually encourages visceral fat accumulation, as your metabolism slows progressively throughout the day without consistent protein stimulation. By following this protein timing strategy, you're not just eating, you're activating your body's natural fat-burning mechanisms, protecting muscle and turning the fight against visceral fat into a daily, science-backed rhythm. Now, get ready, because next we'll reveal the fourth most powerful strategy, one that even seasoned researchers found surprising, and that could transform the way you think about fat loss after 60. Step number 4, temperature manipulation for brown fat activation. Number 4, temperature manipulation for brown fat activation is one of the most overlooked but incredibly effective strategies for visceral fat reduction after 60. Your body contains two types of fat tissue, and understanding the difference between them could completely revolutionize the way you lose fat. White fat stores energy and makes up most of your visceral fat, while brown fat actually burns calories to generate heat, turning your body into a natural fat-burning engine. A groundbreaking study from MRI University demonstrated that people over 60 who exposed themselves to mild cold temperatures for just 2 hours every day increased brown fat activity by an astonishing 45% and reduced visceral fat by 19% in just 4 weeks. The protocol is far simpler than you might think. It doesn't involve ice baths or extreme discomfort. In fact, the participants simply lowered their home thermostat to 66° F for 2 hours each evening while wearing light clothing. This mild, cold exposure triggers your brown fat to burn white fat for fuel, specifically targeting visceral fat first because it is more metabolically active. The science behind this is fascinating. As we age, brown fat naturally becomes less active, which contributes to the slow accumulation of visceral fat around organs. However, the MRI study clearly showed that even in adults over 70, brown fat can be reactivated through controlled cold exposure, essentially reigniting the body's internal fat-burning furnace. Another technique that showed remarkable results was ending hot showers with 30 seconds of cooler water. Again, this isn't about freezing yourself, just noticeable coolness compared to a normal shower. This simple adjustment can activate brown fat for up to 4 hours afterward, amplifying fat burning long after the shower is over. According to the study, participants who combined the cool shower finish with evening thermostat reduction lost 31% more visceral fat than those who only applied one method. Timing plays a critical role. The best period for cold exposure is in the evening between 6 and 8 p.m. when your body's natural temperature begins to drop. This timing synchronizes with your circadian rhythm, maximizing fat burning while you sleep and ensuring your visceral fat is targeted efficiently during the night. Cold exposure can also be enhanced during the day with simple, practical habits. For example, drinking a glass of cold water every 2 hours forces your body to expend energy simply to warm the water to body temperature, increasing calorie expenditure naturally. Japanese researchers found that this strategy alone can burn an extra 100 calories per day without even stepping into a gym. The key to success, however, is gradual adaptation. Start with just 15 minutes of cooler temperatures and build up over 2 weeks. This allows your brown fat to become more active and efficient, gradually learning to burn visceral fat consistently for fuel. Over time, your body's natural fat-burning processes kick into a higher gear, targeting dangerous belly fat while preserving muscle and overall metabolic health. Temperature manipulation isn't just about exposing yourself to cold, it's about timing, consistency, and gradual progression. Even small changes done correctly can have a dramatic impact on visceral fat reduction, especially after 60 when metabolism tends to slow. Now we're moving into truly powerful territory with our third strategy, one that even seasoned researchers found surprising, and that can completely shift your approach to fat loss after 60. Before we continue, if you've been finding this video helpful, hit that like button so more seniors can see it, and subscribe for daily senior health tips. You won't want to miss the next strategy because it takes fat loss to a whole new level, backed by science and proven results. Part 3, Step Number 3, Time-Restricted Feeding with Metabolic Windows. Number 3 is Time-Restricted Feeding with Metabolic Windows, a strategy that might actually be more important than what you eat when it comes to eliminating visceral fat after 60. The timing of your meals can dramatically influence how your body burns fat, and science is now proving just how powerful this approach can be. According to a groundbreaking study from the Salk Institute, researchers discovered that adults over 60 who restricted their eating to an 8 to 10-hour window lost 47% more visceral fat than those consuming the same calories spread throughout the day. And here's the fascinating part. This isn't traditional intermittent fasting. It's a strategic approach designed to align with your body's natural circadian rhythms and hormonal patterns, targeting visceral fat with precision. The study followed 516 participants aged 60 to 78 over 12 weeks, and the results challenged everything we thought we knew about meal timing and aging. The research revealed a sweet spot for eating, between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m., allowing your digestive system to completely rest for 14 hours overnight. During this fasting period, your body shifts from burning glucose for energy to burning fat, specifically visceral fat, which is more metabolically accessible than subcutaneous fat. Dr. Sachin Panda, who led this research, discovered that this eating pattern triggers autophagy, your body's natural cellular cleaning process. Autophagy specifically targets dysfunctional fat cells around your organs, allowing your body to detoxify and optimize fat metabolism, all without changing the types of foods you eat or counting calories. Participants simply compressed their normal meals into the eating window, and the results were extraordinary. The key to making this work after 60 is to start gradually. Begin with a 12-hour eating window for the first week. Then reduce it by 30 minutes each week until you reach the target 10-hour window. This gradual approach prevents triggering a stress response, which can ironically increase visceral fat storage if your body adapts too quickly. During your eating window, focus on 3 satisfying meals rather than constant snacking. This keeps insulin levels stable, preventing additional visceral fat accumulation. The first meal of the day should be substantial, including protein and healthy fats to prevent muscle loss and kickstart metabolism. The last meal should be finished at least 3 hours before bedtime to optimize growth hormone release during deep sleep. Growth hormone is particularly important after 60 because it mobilizes visceral fat for energy, supporting both fat loss and overall vitality, but only when insulin levels are low. Participants following this pattern showed a 34% increase in growth hormone levels, which corresponded to a significant acceleration in visceral fat reduction. And during the fasting period, simple beverages like black coffee, tea, or water are allowed. These not only keep you hydrated, but can slightly raise your metabolic rate, enhancing fat burning without breaking your fast. This method isn't just about skipping meals. It's about strategic timing, aligning with your body's natural rhythms, and creating windows where your body can focus on fat burning and cellular repair. The results speak for themselves. More visceral fat lost, better metabolic health, and a more efficient fat-burning rhythm, even in adults over 60. The second most powerful method we're about to reveal builds on this strategy, taking everything we've covered so far to a whole new level. Get ready, because the next step combines science, timing, and metabolism in a way that supercharges visceral fat loss like nothing else you've tried. Step number 2. Targeted soluble fiber. Loading with prebiotics. Number 2 is targeted soluble fiber loading with prebiotics, a strategy that could fundamentally change the way we approach visceral fat loss after 60. Scientists at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center made a groundbreaking discovery. Every 10 grams of soluble fiber consumed daily resulted in a 7% reduction in visceral fat over 5 years. But when this fiber was combined with specific prebiotics, the reduction skyrocketed to 8.4% in just 3 months. And here's the key. This isn't about eating more vegetables randomly. It's about strategically consuming specific types of soluble fiber that create a unique environment in your gut, one that literally forces your body to burn visceral fat. The study followed 1,114 participants over 60, and the results revealed that soluble fiber works through multiple powerful mechanisms, which become even more effective as we age. First, soluble fiber forms a gel-like substance in your digestive system that slows glucose absorption. This prevents the insulin spikes that trigger visceral fat storage, allowing your body to stay in fat-burning mode. Second, soluble fiber feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which produce short-chain fatty acids, particularly butyrate. Butyrate directly signals your body to burn visceral fat for energy. Participants with higher butyrate levels had 51% less visceral fat, regardless of overall body weight, a remarkable finding. The most effective sources of soluble fiber aren't what most people expect. While oats and beans are beneficial, research highlighted konjac root, also known as glucomannan, as the most powerful soluble fiber for visceral fat reduction. Taking just 3 grams before meals reduced visceral fat by 12% in 8 weeks. You can find glucomannan as a supplement or in shirataki noodles at most grocery stores. The key is taking it 30 minutes before your largest meal with a full glass of water, allowing it to expand and create the optimal environment for fat burning. Ground flaxseed was the second most effective, with 2 tablespoons daily reducing visceral fat by 9%. However, timing and freshness are crucial. It must be ground fresh or purchased pre-ground and kept refrigerated to preserve the active compounds. Timing matters enormously. Taking soluble fiber with meals containing protein amplifies the fat-burning effect by 40%. According to the research, the ideal daily protocol looks like this: 1 tablespoon of ground flax in your morning protein. Shake, glucomannan before lunch, and a cup of cooked beans with dinner. This creates 3 distinct waves of visceral fat-burning signals throughout the day, keeping your metabolism active from morning to night. The prebiotic component is equally critical. Certain foods, like Jerusalem artichokes, garlic, and onions, showed the strongest effects. Participants who consumed 1 Jerusalem artichoke or 2 cloves of garlic daily had 27% higher levels of fat-burning bacteria in their gut within just 2 weeks. The combination of strategic soluble fiber and prebiotics essentially reprograms your metabolism to preferentially burn visceral fat while preserving muscle mass, which is especially crucial after 60. This method not only accelerates fat loss, but also enhances digestive health, energy levels, and overall metabolic efficiency. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the #1 most powerful method, the one that outperformed everything. Else in studies, delivering the fastest and most dramatic reduction in visceral fat after 60. Part 1 step. 1. Controlled breathing with vagus nerve activation. 1 is controlled breathing with vagus nerve activation, the breakthrough that made researchers at the University of Copenhagen completely rethink visceral fat loss after 60. This method isn't just another breathing exercise. It's a scientifically proven technique that triggers massive reduction in visceral fat without any changes to diet or exercise. In a study of 892 participants aged 60 to 79, individuals who practiced this specific breathing technique for just 15 minutes twice daily experienced astonishing results. They lost 42% more visceral fat than the control group, who followed the same diet and exercise plan without the breathing protocol. The technique itself is simple but precise. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 7 counts, and exhale through your mouth for 8 counts, repeated continuously for 15 minutes. But here's the critical detail that makes it work specifically for visceral fat. Place 1 hand on your chest and 1 on your belly, ensuring only your belly moves during breathing. This diaphragmatic breathing pattern directly stimulates the vagus nerve, which runs from your brain through your organs and has a profound influence on fat metabolism. Dr. Mark Mattson from Johns Hopkins University discovered that vagus nerve activation triggers the release of acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that signals visceral fat cells to release their stored energy. Timing is everything. The first session should be done immediately upon waking, when cortisol, the stress hormone, is naturally high. This session has been shown to reduce cortisol levels by 37% in just 15 minutes. High cortisol is one of the main triggers for visceral fat accumulation after 60, so this morning session essentially turns off the fat storage signal for the entire day. The second session is ideally done between 3 and 5 p.m. when cortisol naturally rises again. This prevents the afternoon visceral fat storage that tends to increase with age. The most effective practice is to sit in a quiet room, close your eyes, and focus solely on your breathing rhythm. Counting your breaths keeps your mind engaged, while the pattern triggers a physiological fat-burning response. Participants reported that after just 2 weeks, the technique became automatic. They could feel their bodies relaxing and shifting into fat-burning mode within the first few breaths. Beyond fat loss, the research revealed additional health benefits. Insulin sensitivity improved by 23%, and inflammatory markers associated with visceral fat decreased by 31%. The beauty of this technique is its independence from diet and exercise, though combining it with other evidence-based strategies produces synergistic results. Participants who applied all 5 methods together lost an average of 4.2 inches from their waist in 30 days, with scans confirming that most of this loss was dangerous visceral fat, not harmless subcutaneous fat. This breathing technique appears to be the cornerstone because it addresses the stress and autonomic nervous system dysfunction that drives visceral fat accumulation. After 60, something diet and exercise alone cannot fully tackle. The path to eliminating visceral fat after 60 isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Start with the breathing technique, which requires no equipment or dietary changes and provides immediate stress reduction. Then, gradually add 1 new strategy per week, allowing your body to adapt and build sustainable habits. Research is clear. Adults over 60 who commit to these evidence-based strategies for 30 days experience transformative changes, not just in visceral fat levels, but in overall vitality, energy, and metabolic health. Your body is remarkably capable of change at any age when given the right signals. These 5 strategies give you exactly that, helping burn visceral fat, preserve precious muscle mass, and improve metabolic health for years to come. Now we want to hear from you. Have you noticed your weight shifting to your midsection even though your diet hasn't changed since your 40s? What's the biggest surprise about your body changing after 60? Share your experiences and opinions in the comments below. We love reading them. Thanks for watching, and get ready to take full control of visceral fat and your health after 60.